All right, season 3, episode 3. And I gotta say, this episode sucked. It was a horrible episode. And I've said in other reviews for shows and movies, just because I don't like something doesn't mean I don't understand it. I completely understood what they were going for because they made that very clear early on. And the rest of the episode, they were just beating that fact to death. I totally get the hectic nature of what they were doing. I understand it was stressful. That music was way over the top. But also part of the problem is for me is Rhaenyra is very unlikable at this point. So this heavy dose of Rhaenyra adds to it being a struggle to get through. Other than this opening scene with Daemon and Ormond Hightower, it's 1000% Rhaenyra. Let's talk about this opening scene real quick, which was actually pretty cool. I dig this Ormond Hightower guy. His arrogance and his confidence is very appealing as a character. I don't know much about him at all, but as far as adversarial things go, him and Daemon, I just kind of dig that. Even though he was a little bit of a cuck in this, which makes sense because it wasn't the real Targaryen kid. He was playing Daemon all along. Now, I didn't pick up on this body double thing. I saw people posting pictures online of how the real kid has red hair. It never even crossed my mind. I did not pay attention to that kind of detail. I don't know if that was an oversight or what, but I did not pick up on that not being the right kid. I did start to think about it though, once the kid wasn't speaking and they kept zooming in on his face and his weird facial expressions. Then I actually thought something was up. And then, of course, Alicent throws her own son under the bus. Even though that wasn't her son, the best thing would have been to play along with it instead of giving up her own family that they pulled some kind of trick.
What game does he play?
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
But let's go back to the illogical handoff part of this. Daemon wants to slay all opposition. Now, he's being cordial here because that's what Rhaenyra wants. So he's doing his duty. But why would he not tell the kid to hop on the dragon to fly back with him? You can say because that kid might attack them, but this kid isn't going to be stupid enough to attack 3 big-ass dragons when he has no experience of fighting. But let's just say that that is the case. Again, Daemon wants to slay all opposition. He's not going to allow this rebellious house to keep a dragon. So if he doesn't bring the dragon with him, he would have those 3 dragons kill that dragon. It makes no sense. It was all orchestrated just so that they could have this Alicent scene later and rev up tensions again. So they have Alicent throwing her family under the bus, and then they have Rhaenyra, again, is also unlikable at this point, making illogical decisions as well, like we see with Corlys. And I understand that she has some kind of personal bias because her kids are bastards and she doesn't want to anoint these bastards as highborn, but she has no small council left. She has no allies at this point. And this has been your truest ally, who's also a very powerful ally, even though he's lost basically everything because he's been sticking to her. He's been loyal to her. And it was completely illogical for him to call her out like this, even though I love the scene.
Your son Jacaerys lived and died a bastard!
Him shouting at the queen like that and putting her bastards on blast is what actually got his brother's head chopped off.
Her children are bastards!
Or halfway chopped off. So that would leave her no choice but to kill him for being treasonous. And this also writes them into a corner, because where do you go from here with these 2 characters? See, just say, fuck you, I'm out of here and fly off, and then that's that? Of course, we don't know because they cut the fucking scene, which they might go back to, like do some sort of flashback where he's talking to somebody and he's reminiscing on how he yelled at the queen, but they squashed their beef because she did this or that or promised him this. Hard telling because you can't have these 2 at odds. It just wouldn't make sense. And another aspect of the lazy writing is I think this is what they're trying to make her turn to becoming like a mad queen. I don't know anything about the lore. I'm just speculating. I can only speak of what I know, and all I know is this show and what I see. So all these little tedious tasks that she's getting pestered with to rule this kingdom right off the bat, and she's stressed out and she's on her period. And she's imagining her son walking through the halls, so she's a little... Of course she lost a son, I get it. That's brutal, it's emotional. But what I'm saying is when they're trying to encompass it all together, this is her turn to going mad. It's all just so lazy to me. And the illogical decisions, it's all lazy. It's just plot devices, conveniences to move the plot along that really don't work. You have to make a bunch of excuses for something to work, kind of half-assed. So again, it's not that I don't understand what they were going for. I just didn't like it. And of course, you're going to get some of the defenders that just oversimplify it and accuse somebody like me of not liking it just because it didn't have battles. Well, the first several seasons of Game of Thrones barely had any battles. It was like 95% dialogue. That didn't suck. That wasn't boring. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was like 98% dialogue. That wasn't boring. That didn't suck. That was the greatest thing I've probably seen in this universe since season 4 of Game of Thrones. That was a long time ago. All right, so let's take a look at some of these comments that I saw while I was scrolling the topic of House of the Dragon. And of course, it is what I was saying. Some people calling this a filler episode. Sorry, but not every episode has to have dragons and battles. This is a political conflict on succession. If you don't have the attention span to sit through an episode without booms and pows, then just choose another show. Which is total horseshit, because like I said, the other shows were mostly dialogue. It's not just about explosions. It's not about battles and dragons and fire. Here we have this person saying best episode of the season, easily. I don't need battles and death to keep me entertained. It was always at its best when it's verbal sparring, and I agree, it's verbal sparring is great. But just focusing, one thing that the other show Game of Thrones did not do was follow one character around the entire time either. Though I guess there were some Jon Snow episodes that were probably really heavy on Jon Snow, but there was a lot more to it. I mean, fuck, they included battles, didn't they? I mean, is there any part of this that's shocking? Once you start focusing on this small percentage of people and pandering to them, everything goes to shit. We all became fans of this universe without the pandering bullshit. It can be done. It can be entertaining. It can appeal to everybody. Just focus on a fucking good story. What happened to the time the fandom could enjoy an episode with just dialogue, political intrigue, and intense character work, and foreshadowing? Now they just want battles as if we didn't get those in the first 2 episodes. Again, all the political intrigue, intense character work, and foreshadowing. That's why we are all fans. That's what brought us here. It's not about just a battle. This is oversimplification. This isn't rebuttals. It's the same as, oh, you just hate women. You just hate gays. You just hate blacks. No, something can be shit. They can miss the mark. They cannot stick the landing. And one last one here. Any episode that doesn't have a battle is boring to you all. Just stop watching and show. And this one I already responded. GOT was 95% dialogue. Night of the Seven Kings is 98% dialogue. And it wasn't boring. Oversimplify means you fail to comprehend things, not the other way around. It isn't about battles. So what I'm saying is they're failing to comprehend why we say something is bad. They just oversimplify, like I said, you just hate women, you just hate gays, you just hate blacks. It's a cop-out. Then of course we're gonna have shit like this. Eat the rich. Of course the commies are gonna like that slop, that stupid shit. That's also lazy and retarded. Just more activism, fucking ruining shit. Because activists don't know how to be creative. They can't think for themselves. They just have to insert their own agendas into shit. And another one praising the banquet dinner. Rhaenyra reminding everyone who's the queen, establishing the power. It was so fucking cool. The performance and boss bitch behavior throughout the scene was chef's kiss, I guess. It's such a low bar to get these people to fucking seal clap. And then if you say like, yeah, I was bored. I understood the point early in the episode. Then it got beat to death. And it was annoying. It was irritating. It was off-putting. I understood the depth that they were going for with how hectic and stressful everything is. That doesn't mean that an hour of it isn't too much for me. I think Rhaenyra getting her period right before sitting on the throne listening to petitioners is one of the most relatable moments of this entire show. A character actually feels like a human for once. How novel. Okay. I mean, you go, girl. You're going through a completely normal part of womanhood. You're a fucking slay queen. Then we got cucks like this, oysters, clams, and cockles, who blocked me. I don't even know who the fuck these guys are. I was just scrolling and I came across their video and I left a comment. All right, so it looks like they deleted the video they had. And it was talking about foreshadowing with Helena. I hate the lack of her teases every time she's on screen, which is only like 9 seconds per episode. I anticipate her saying something buffoon, because what she says is kind of buffoony. Like buffoon-like, that's intriguing and has meaning. Haven't really gotten that. It's a misused tool. So I'm saying I want to see more of Helena. I think she's interesting. I think trying to decipher, and which is what their little video was about. The caterpillar she was talking about and the chickens. It was just speculation. I don't even know. I was just scrolling. These guys popped up. I had no idea. Really, and then I made a joke because what she does is warns people that something bad is going to happen. Really wish she would have gave me a riddle for how fucking retarded episode 3 was going to be. I knew it'd be shit from the promo, but I thought we'd bounce around to other shit just a little. Just don't watch the show, you miserable twat. Nobody is making you. This is such a fucking retarded take. People can dislike an episode of a season. People can dislike what's happening to their favorite franchise. That's the problem. Like, a lot of people are starting to tune out of things, but whatever. So obviously I thought the episode was shit. I've made that perfectly clear. And it's not just because there wasn't battles. I can handle dialogue. I can handle slow. I can handle all of that. It doesn't help that Rhaenyra is very unlikable for me. The writing is lazy. It's illogical. It makes her look like a fucking retard. It makes Alicent look like a fucking retard. Even dumbs down Daemon. All of those are bad qualities for a character-focused episode.
You've come so far, and yet you still don't know who you are.
And actually, when it comes to the battles, this has been an entire build-up since season 1 that these two families are going to be fighting. So when you have lead up and stuff, it's all been leading up to battles. So if people want battles, it's not stupid of them to be wanting it at this point, because season 2 was a bunch of cock teasing lead up as well. So there's only so much carrot dangling you can do. Now I'm assuming they're going to go balls to the wall. Maybe not this next, but in the coming episodes, we're going to have some probably pretty epic visual battle, like visually at least. And I say visually at least because Battle of the Bastards was awesome visually, but there was holes in that battle. They were kind of goofy. So my point is, if people have been sticking through it this long and they're like, God, I want to see some fights already. There's nothing wrong with that either. That doesn't mean that they have a short attention span. I mean, fuck this. Again, we're in season 3 and it's all been building up and we've had a few battles, but tensions are like, we're at war, right? So of course people are going to want battles by now. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, well, I'm done ranting. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thanks for stopping by.